Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Practical Principles. This is Practical Prince, and we're doing Talking Tarot. So, having fun doing some readings. So, drop in your questions. We can just chat if you prefer. Otherwise, I'll just shuffle cards, maybe do some spreads for myself, and um, do more setup, I guess, like getting the camera ready. As a heads up, um, I'm probably going to be on the job hunt soon, so the time for these is probably going to change, and we might have fewer of them. Um, 'Cause, well, it'll depend on what job I end up with and what can work out there. So um, that's that's that. Time to shuffle cards. Let me get some space. Gotta remember that the microphone picks up noise through the table pretty well, so better if I do shuffling and moving and whatnot off to the side. Fewer people can be annoyed by the noise. Go ahead and shuffle Destiny. Oh, I should probably share the social media stuff. It's a little tough being your own social media, but it is what it is. At least when you're bored. But otherwise, hope you're doing well. Oh, hey, Zan. How's it going? Just getting some cards ready. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to at this point. I guess if you've got a question or anything, we can do a reading if you'd like. Don't want to be too rough. And I think this needs another shuffle. So, yeah. And I hope, I think Restream throttles messages somewhat. Um, but hopefully you're just typing a long question or thinking, or just listening, I suppose. So, let me look that up. Okay. One deck shuffle. Right. More to go. Something been on your mind lately? We can just chat instead of doing a reading. Or we can listen to music. I don't know how long the Restream added this background music feature. I don't know how long the music runs for. So, yeah. it's got this little refresh indicator next to it, and I just don't know if I need to hit that at some point. 'Cause, usually I'm doing readings, so oop, mm, might be a poor connection. That's okay. Just give us time to a couple more decks. And respond faster when somebody asks for a reading. Hope you're doing well. Seems like it might be a bit intermittent. Hopefully that's not true for the camera, but we'll see. Don't need more of a workout than the one I've already done. So right there. One more down, one more. By all means, go ahead and drop questions in the chat, comments, do readings, or we can just talk. And maybe I'll just monologue. Hey CJ, I'm doing well. How are you? It's getting hot over here, but probably not as hot as what you deal with. So I'm in Utah. We claim to be a desert, but there's lot of flora that might suggest otherwise. I think I'm ready. I've got all my decks shuffled, accessible. So yeah, if you've got questions, go ahead, or we'll just chat. Got in a religious talk with somebody else, and somehow infinite regressions came up, and I can sort of understand how that's an issue, but when it's a given you're dealing with an eternity or an infinity, I'm not sure how relevant that is because it's not the same as a time loop. So yeah, I don't see why not. I'm pretty novice, in my opinion. So by all means, go ahead. If you just want a general or something, let me know. I do prefer more specifics because if you've got specific problems, we can work on specific solutions. But, yeah, and like part of it is sometimes people will connect the dots themselves, and so being an informed querent, basically, that just makes it easier. So. Um, I towards Lost Forest, but we'll see what kind of read we're going to do. So, because I like different decks for different things. So, general is good. Hmm. Probably not Lost Forest then. Let's go ahead and use Prisma, and I guess that's the mat that's already out. I know some people just do a 3-card spread. I usually try to figure out something more dynamic. Really, just what you need. Some people will ask for like angel messages, and general readings are basically the same, in my opinion, or at least how I approach them. Yeah, I don't think I need more shuffling. So let's just see what cards you need. And maybe you don't. So we'll just see. Yeah. Well, and that's usually what that comes down to. It's fun when people pop in and they're like, "I'm a Sagittarius. Can you do a blah 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 reading?" And I'm like, "Well, that first part doesn't really mean anything to me, but I can answer. I can do a read." No, that's a duo of some sort. Yeah, I'll probably get a feeling for that later. We've got some cards. Are there more? Let's see. Right around here. No problem. I mean, I stream so that I hopefully can do reads for people. So it's good for both of us. Excellent. Well, don't get too excited. I am novice. I like to use the guides, but yeah, I still add my interpretation or sense of what's trying to be communicated. So not sure about that card. We'll see. Currently there's 4 out. And we'll just see, is there more here? And are there any more? Maybe on the bottom? Seems like we got a second duo. Okay, let me see if I've got them in the right place and exactly, well, if I can figure out what the duos are. Because my first duo was a tempered pair. There was one main card and then it was tempered by the second. But I've also had equals show up. Okay. And what are you? Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. We'll probably just flip that one last. I'm not sure what its relevance is, but I get the feeling you might. So I'll go ahead and show the cards. And let's make that a little bigger. Okay. So this is over on the left, this is the card I'm not sure about. There's some meaning, some sense to it, but as far as what part it plays in the bigger picture, I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to start with these 6. And you've got these 2 pairs going on. Hey, Paige. I don't think this is a tempered pair, so I'm thinking that these are equal pairs, as in the cards are equally relevant. There's not a foremost, secondmost sort of thing going on. So we'll go ahead and flip these 6. We'll start with this one. So Justice and the Lovers. Interesting. Major Arcana right out the bat. 7 of Chalices, Temperance, and the Empress. And then up here we've got 8 of Wands. And so we'll go through these meanings and then figure out if we need this extra card or not. Okay, Paige, I'll add you. And I know you've stopped in a few times, but I don't think I've been able to answer your question all those times. So by all means, if you've got to go or something, you can drop it and come back later. It'll be on the video at some point. Drop this so I get my arm back. Okay. And this is from the deck I'm using is Cosmovision, or sorry, not Cosmo, Prismavisions. James R. Eads. When you stick that together, it looks like reeds. He's the one who created that. And so now I'm inclined to start just as we were reading them. So we'll do Justice and then the Lovers. And with Justice, you've got that sense of balance. Things are made right. Let's see what else we've got. Yeah, so cause and effect, these are the keywords. Balance, accountability. This card is a reminder that justice is coming. You can only get away with unscrupulous behavior for so long. Eventually, your motives will be found out, and there will be swift retribution to follow. But do not fear. Being held accountable for your actions is how balance will be restored to the universe. It's time to give back. And so it's interesting that this was paired with the Lovers. 6. Obviously, that's not necessarily a romantic connection, but it's the one that springs first to mind. So the keywords are partnership, individualism, blossoming relationship. The Lovers suggest a potent time to begin a new relationship. Break down barriers. Let people get to know you, the real you, and welcome their energy into your life. Revel in sexuality and connection. Let yourself be influenced by one person. Hey, Wingman. This is a card that celebrates individualism. Delight in integration without dimming your own beautiful gleam. So you probably have a better idea of what this is trying to say to you. Um, and you can comment if you want. Um, but I feel like that's something of a social aspect, probably um, in the dimension of love. But either you've been cooped up too long and need to open yourself up, or um, there's been a, how would you phrase that? Something of a separation in that dimension, and it's time to bring that unity back together. You'll have a better sense of which idea that's supposed to go towards. Seven of Chalices is our next one, and that one was by itself. Deception, dwelling in fantasy, choices. The seven warns of overindulgence, abusing sensual pleasures not for their own sake, but to distract us from a more pressing matter. By allowing ourselves to be deceived, we deaden ourselves to our problems. It is a way to seclude ourselves from a harsh, embattled world. But dwelling too long in fantasy will leave us vulnerable to very real issues that will not go away if we ignore them. So, I mean, a warning basically that, well, gosh, oversimplifying in a sense, um, trying to take the easy road, but at the cost of long term consequences. How passive or active you are, I'm not sure in that regard. Um, so you'll need to use your own insight on that front as to what behavior that could be referring to. But that's the gist of that card. Um, let's go to Temperance and then the Empress. Those two, um, since they came out together. Maintaining balance. This is Temperance. Moderation, giving. Learning to maintain a balance is essential to survival. Though temptations will perpetually beckon, most sensual delights will prove sweeter in moderation. An excess can be toxic. Don't numb or harm yourself through overindulgence. If you find yourself with more than you need, a neighbor may benefit from your surplus. By sharing with others, life retains its distinct and magnificent flavors. This is interesting right after the Seven of Chalices, but let's go to the Empress, and maybe the pair will be more informative. Nurturing, giving, connection with Earth. The Empress is a subtle ruler. Caught so often in the gray trivialities of our existence, we forget their inherent inauthenticity. The minutiae we build up around ourselves, our jobs, our status, our wealth, none of it is truly vital to our existence. All we need to survive is the bounty already provided to us by Mother Nature. Connect back to it, revel in it, take joy in the most basic pleasure, that of being alive. So, yeah, I mean, there's a certain order that needs to, well, not necessarily order, that could in fact be the issue. But there's a balance that needs to be brought back. Um, and with the Empress, a little more to the spiritual side is the impression I'm getting. So, um, obviously, it could be an actual connection with nature, um, but um, depending on your faith or spirituality, um, uh, it could be, well, you'll know what your context is. And then Eight of Wands. Um, okay, Reddick. I'm reading for Reddick right now. Or CJ, sorry. Um, uh, yeah. Yeah, sounds like you figured that one out. Um, yeah, Seven of Chalices as a warning makes sense, given the environment that you were put into. So, um, and yeah, this makes sense as a follow up to uh, COVID isolation. Well, not necessarily isolation, but just the lack of social that happened as a consequence. Um, so yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, and so back to Eight of Wands. Forward movement, finish line, final push. You may be tired, but there's no stopping now. Nearing the finish line is no time to slow down. Your situation demands one final burst of energy to propel you into victory. Show hustle. Don't hesitate. You're nearly there. Um, I'm not exactly sure what that's referring to, but presumably you've got an idea. Whereas I can see the others relating to COVID, this seems probably to be something else. So, and then I'm going to flip over that last card, or well, let me go ahead and show that so that we can see. And hopefully that'll start catching up. Um, so the last card is Six of Pentacles. I guess I'll just wait a sec so that this can hopefully catch up. So page already, oh, there we go. Okay, so page 9 will be the next read. Wingman, if you've got a question, you were the third. WYE, I assume you're asking for a Sagittarius reading. I don't really do horoscopes. If you want a reading, whether general or something more specific, I can do that. Just let me know. So Six of Pentacles for CJ Reddick. Let's wrap this up and see what this does. Wands, nope. Chalices, nope. Swords, nope. There we go. Pentacles. Excess generosity, paying it forward. After many struggles and painful learning experiences, life has granted you the luxury of excess. When this happens, don't be greedy and keep the wealth to yourself. Give freely, never forgetting your own hard times that have brought you to this day. Alternatively, if you are in need of charity, don't be too proud to receive it. Often life will restore its equilibrium without your consent when you are least prepared. Therefore, if you find someone willing to tip the scale back in your favor, don't hesitate. You will pay back the debt in full when you're better off. Which is interesting. I mean, just given that there was justice and temperance and a lot of balancing going on. Um, okay. And so you know what that's getting to. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and set these aside. Okay, we've got wingmans. Let me find page. So page 9. Go ahead and drop in your question, assuming you're still on. I'll go ahead and put this away. If it's intermittent or something, I'll just, well, we'll move on and come back just whenever you can get that to me. So. Well, and then if you're naturally a giver, the universe might have to humble you to the point where you will learn that skill. can learn that attitude. So it's not a bad thing per se, um, though it can be taken in excess. Awesome. Will do. Thanks, CJ. Let's get our camera back. Okay. Um, I guess at this point, oh, there you are. No, Paige. I just finished with CJ. Um, go ahead and drop your question is in, or if you just wanted a general, let me know. Um, and just for future reference, by all means, you can just drop that and then come back to the video later if it's intermittent or if you've got to run. Because, yeah, I understand. And especially with how Restream can throttle, um, it'll, yeah, it'll make more sense for more people um, to just queue up their questions and then come back. That just seems like natural behavior to me. That shuffled. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me get this camera back on the right side. But yeah, I guess to clarify, Paige, it is your turn. So go ahead and put your question in. There we go. Okay. And why? Well, that's the important question. Lost Forest would be good. No, probably Lost Forest. We'll go ahead and use the same map. Hard time forgiving others when they do you wrong. Well, I mean, offhand, outside the reading, you understand yourself. Like, you know your experience. So it's very easy to understand the reasons why you do things and why you might make mistakes. Um, Often we just don't have that context for other people. Um, and so we default to our expectations of them, which obviously they failed to meet. And at that point, there's just nothing but criticism. Um, you can let go because obviously it happened. Um, there's no changing the reality of that. But as far as forgiving, it's probably the lack of understanding, which sadly there's no guarantee of. Closure isn't a promise. Um, like I struggled when I got ghosted by a girl. Never knew the reason why. Um, but I have to accept that it can happen. That's consequence of agency. Yep, that is very true. Um, although they probably do more than you think. My general rule is that people are trying to do their best. What they think is best might be different from what you think is best. But that's, yeah, that's kind of expected, given our individuality and the discrepancies between our experiences and what makes us who we are. So, um, hey, Amna, I've got a few readings lined up, but go ahead. Um, and if you have a question or want a reading, uh, drop that in comments and I'll get to it at some point. And you can just come back to the video or you can stay on. I'm working on page 9s right now. Okay. We've got 3 cards, and it looks like they're touching on 2 different aspects. Let's get the camera back. Okay. Gotcha. I'll get to that, well, once we get to the other people. So here we've got your cards. There's the 2 different aspects going on, one for one, and then we've got 2 for the other. So this first one is 4 of Oceans. And then over here we've got King of Skies and Queen of Earth. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. And I might actually, just to understand that. Because I would struggle the other way. I generally am a more harsh judge of myself than others, but it sounds like you might tend the other way. So we'll start with the 4 of Oceans. Contemplation, apathy, reevaluation. Sometimes it's best to withdraw and close out the world. And so this is an aspect of why it's hard for you to forgive others. And it's probably because, as this is saying, you're disconnected in a sense. So that's what that's getting at. And then we've got, we'll just do them in that order. So King of Skies, authority, truth, clarity of mind. And then for the Queen of Earth, practicality, nurture, providing for a family. So that's interesting. So there's a very realistic side of you, grounded in reality. And maybe that's struggling with the sometimes irrational aspects of human. Hey, Zero. It's a busy day today, so go ahead and drop your question if you have one, or we can do a general and let me know, and we'll get to it. But yeah, so the King of Skies clarity, Queen of Earth's practicality. I guess like it's almost an obvious standard to you. And then, of course, there's the 4 of Oceans. There's a bit of a disconnect. So, yeah. It may just be that you need to work on the understanding of other people, um, to re-engage with them, connect with them more, and that way you won't necessarily impose your own standard on them. But yeah, I think that's what we're getting at with the Four of Oceans and then the combo of King of Skies and Queen of Earth. Well, um, yeah, I mean, as far as that human aspect, you don't know all of their situation. You know the piece that interacted with you, um, and well, you can judge that on its face value. But there's more to the story. So yeah, okay. Well, and yeah, answers are can be tough to come by. It depends on the people in the situation. So if you can fight against that four of oceans, and work to understand them, that'll help a lot. But yeah, not every well, and I don't know if you could see clearly in the picture. There's the clams, um, the shellfish. So, and these ones are closed off. Um, and just like you might be a bit disconnected, they might be a bit disconnected, um, or at least not open. Um, so there's no guarantee there. Um, but if you can accept that and work past that when that's an issue, um, that should help. Yeah, thinking at night is problematic for some people, at least. That used to be an issue for my girlfriend. It, I started calling it looping. Um, she would just go on. The conversation would eventually just loop back to the same place, and none of it truly registered. It didn't really help her at all. Um, yeah, letting out the energy some other way. Um, but if it's, well, yeah, not sure on that. Some people have recommended writing down the stuff you're thinking about, and that the act of writing that down externally stores it, um, in a sense, and then your mind can let go of that and make it easier to fall asleep. So, um, but in a sense, you're promising, in a sense, you're promising to follow up on that. So that's the idea behind that. Um, okay, let me put this away. Wingman wanted a general reading. Um, so let's see. Yeah, we'll probably do Destiny deck. Um, that's what we used last time. Generals aren't as specific, but I think that airiness has a place. Um, Making with deck. No problem. And I hope it was helpful, Paige. And as most things, with time and practice and perseverance, things can get better. Um, yeah. So new map. Um, in this corner. Okay. Excellent. Uh, Set those aside. Then let's see what cards we get. Right now, I'm switching to Wingman's reading. So there was Wingman Yeah, let me just go back over that list. Um, yeah, so we did CJ, we did Paige. We're doing Wingman now. WYE um, popped in for a sec, but he didn't clarify. Um, well, he or she, I guess, didn't clarify if they wanted a general reading or if they wanted something more specific. Looks like they were just asking for a horoscope sort of reading. And then it was you, Amna. So after Wingman, if I don't get clarity from um, gosh, what was the name I was just saying? Um, shoot. Boom, boom, boom. WYE. Um, if we don't hear from them, then it would be you, and then it would be um, Doc, or no, Zero. Zero Devils Reject. So that's currently the lineup. And if I've missed anyone, let me know. But that's where we're at. Okay. One from the bottom. Just zero. Okay. Okay. There's a better one. Okay. Gotcha. There's that one. Yeah, it was just included in, well, the display name. You can tell what I see. I usually just go for the first part though, so. Yeah, Amna, um, I will get to your question, so you can just drop it, and then it'll be available on YouTube, so you can watch it later. Um, Zero, yeah, you can tell your friends to come. Um, I know that Restream will throttle the chat that I see and sometimes slow it down. Um, so, as far as how much engagement, um, I don't know how big your community is and how that'll strain it. But yeah, by all means, go ahead and invite them, and that'll actually be good information for me to figure out what I should do about streaming. So the channel name is Practical Prince. Um, if you're looking it up on YouTube, that's the way you'd be able to find it. And now Wingman. We've got 3 cards for Wingman. Trying to figure out if there's a 4th. We have a 4th. Okay, yeah, and you dropped that question earlier. So yeah, I'll definitely be able to find that and answer it. So you're good to go, Amna. Okay. Okay. Wingman, I got a fifth card, but I'm not sure where it goes in this spread. So kind of like earlier, we'll be setting that aside and then figuring out its part later. Let me go ahead and share. Right now I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do lives at that time. Um, but right now I do all of this free, so I'll need to start looking for a job, and at that point I'll probably need to adjust my schedule. Okay, so I caught up. Um, when that does, I'll start saying that, but um, for now, same time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when I stream live. So we got Nine of Cups, we've got Ace of Wands, we've got Five of Wands, and we've got Two of Cups. And then we've got that fifth card over here. It'll probably be relevant, so I'll just go ahead and flip that. Five of Cups. Okay. Let me set that down. And we've got the digital guide for this deck, so let me share that in case you want to read along. And we'll just do it in that order. So Nine of Cups. The notes on the card are Wish card and Happiness. So a happy card to receive in a reading and be called the Wish card. Excuse me. The universe is working very hard for you in order to grant your wish. The card shows up when the things you have hoped for can now come to fruition. The number 9 represents the triad of mind, body, and spirit. 9 cups placed together in a half circle, touching each other, symbolizes intimacy and connection. The 9 favors good health, happiness, prosperity, imagination, and creativity. When you are fully living in your truth, the universe responds in the most positive ways, which, given what I know of your previous reading, makes sense. That alignment coming to fruition. So, Ace of Wands. And the notes there are soul purpose and life change. Not the Hermit. Oh. And not in that place either. Let me just look for Ace. Oh, that's going to be too many. Still too many. Oh. Alright, I'll just have to find it the hard way. What have we got to start with? That's Cups. Let's skip down to Wands if we can. Pentacles, okay. Swords. Why is it always the last one? Okay, Ace of Wands. An auspicious card for every aspect of your life. The Ace predicts new beginnings and inspires creativity, inventions, and spirituality. A right hand, the hand of receiving, appears from a cloud, offering a single wand. 18 light bursts emanate from this wand, signifying hope, based on the Tree of Life pathway that this card represents. The bursts represent an awakening of spirit and revived spirituality that brightens your life. There may be a heightened sexual desire in you, that you may be going through, which could bring excitement or birth new ideas. This is a fertile time in every part of your life, from conceiving new ideas and creative projects to beginning a new relationship to birthing a child. So again, very much similar to auspicious part of the Nine of Cups. Good beginnings, positive alignment. Let's go to Five of Wands. And the notes there are competition and debate. There we go. Represents a competition. The message is to stay strong in your position and do not compromise. Although there is not an outright battle, it is more about misunderstandings. The source of struggle may be an inner conflict. Perhaps you are faced with difficult decisions that must be made, and there is an inner power struggle with your thoughts. This card calls for a test of strength and a competitive spirit. Conversely, the Five of Wands could also mean several people coming together in a concentrated effort toward a common goal. Stand in your truth and allow the chaos to calm. This will move you towards victory. I think probably the strongest thing there is stand in your truth and allow the chaos to calm. Um, I know you're probably entering a chaotic part. I don't know how competitive the field you're going into is, because my first reaction was to associate it with that. Um, but yeah, so that's why the stand in your truth is ringing strong to me, um, and that it's probably nothing serious, like it says that it's misunderstandings, um, which, well, in that case, it's not a misunderstanding per se. It's just different priorities, um, different values potentially. Quite competitive. Okay. Yep. So that rings sense there. Rings true there. And then the Two of Cups. Love and peace are the notes on that one. Represents union, harmony, partnership, peace, and love. Perhaps there is a deeper commitment that is occurring in a current relationship, such as an engagement, moving in together, or marriage. This is an auspicious card for a creative partnership as well. This can include one that includes writing, art, creative interests, and healing work. The Two of Cups is a card of reconciliation and ongoing negotiations, which will be resolved in your favor. Enjoy the deep love that is coming your way in all aspects of your life. You deserve it. Um, I feel like this relates to what we've already read on, um, but obviously, this whole thing was a general reading, even though to me it seems like a continuation of the one from before, just at a different point in time. So, speaking to the same thing. Um, let's go to Five of Cups. The notes there are sorrow and loss. And this one is just the next page. Shows up when there are difficult emotions that may keep you in a cycle of pain. These emotions must be accepted and healed. Perhaps you are feeling grief after a loss in your life. Three of the cups are overturned. However, two cups remain upright, offering support. Allow the support to come in from friends, family, and coworkers. This card encourages you to honor the gift of pain and give yourself time for healing. Okay. So yeah, I want to say that those first four, to me, they seem like a continuation on the same topic from before. Five of Cups, I get that that might be um, foreshadowing, I guess, in a sense. I think that's speaking to something yet to come. So, oh, good to know. Um, so yeah, Five of Cups is something to bear in mind. Um, I would be guessing that there's some sort of pain or grief coming, um, and so that'll be a rough period to go through. And you'll want to lean on your community, uh, whether that's friends, family, as it was saying. So, but yeah, there's definitely this bigger part of your life, and that seems to be going pretty well right now. So, okay. if you know what that's speaking to, all the better. Um, my guess was that it was future, but for all I know, it already happened. um, okay, so I'll go ahead and set these aside. Thanks, Wingman. It was fun reading for you. Um, WYE didn't clarify their question, so Amna was next. Feelings for me. We are in. No problem. And I guess I know Amna's coming back, so we'll pop her question so she can find it. Bassett's current feelings for me. We aren't in contact. Our marriage on the cards? Will he take any action towards me? Let me find. I'm pretty sure she stated it before. Okay, so same thing, just without the. Because that's what I was hoping to clarify. Oh, oops. My appreciation for Wingman's appreciation. Okay, back to Amna. Because yeah, our marriage on the cards. That, I guess, question doesn't make sense to me. Because I don't know if that's speaking to future marriage or if you're currently in a marriage, which would mean no contact would be a separation. But I guess really that's just context for me. So really, it's the action towards me and current feelings that I'll be able to speak to. Just because I don't have the clarity on the marriage part. But I think that's probably going to be enough. And I do like Destiny deck for this. So let me go ahead and we'll close this, although we'll bring it back up again. And shuffle some. So 0, short for sorrow. Okay. I guess I just, well, yeah. I mean, you obviously see where I got 0. It's a little more of a stretch, but I can see where the sorrow comes from. Okay. Nope, I don't need to shuffle that more. Okay, perfect. Card for Amna, which we probably won't flip. Relationship. This sits a little further. Oh, hey Amna. Just started your reading. Or, well, I'm still picking cards. Gotta find them after all. So, this, the one thing I wanted to clarify, our marriage on the cards. I couldn't tell if that was referring to like a future marriage. Oh, sorry. Actually, I'll just turn up the gain. Sometimes people talk about it. So hopefully you can hear that a bit better. Knocked that up a bit. And then obviously when I'm looking at cards, my mouth is not going the right way. Is he the one? Is he the one? Basically. Okay. And will he take action? Okay, awesome. then I'll probably just leave it on that for the future. We'll go ahead and leave that. So I've got a card for you. I've got a card for the relationship, which would be potentially marriage in this case. And now I need the card for him. I'm assuming it's a he. My bad. Sorry if that's incorrect. Just sensing he keeps going a little deeper and deeper. Let me come back to him. Let's find feelings for you. Nope, that seems to be the wrong thing to do. What should I be doing? Oh, apparently I need to start over. Okay, let me grab those, put them back. Shuffle a little. Just give me one while I get ready. I think, like most people, you probably don't believe in singular soulmates, where there is only ever one person for you. So when you say the one, he's one of the few or many that could be that perfect union. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We've got his card. We've got a lot coming off the bottom. Okay. Which one are you? We've got an influence for him. We've got intentions. We have feelings for you. We have our marriage card, so the yes, no. And then we have a long-term outcome. Okay. For some reason, it laid out a little differently than what usually happens, but we'll... There we go. We'll show you what we've got, and I'll explain what each one means, and then we'll flip them. Can we see? Yeah, we can see just about everything. So on the left, the upright card here That is Basit. Um, here is the influence in his life on top, shining down. Down here, touching, is his intentions. Um, here are the feelings towards you. Um, this is the card on marriage. So, yes, no. This is kind of a mix of outcome and is the one. Um, so, like, more long term, what will happen? So, let's go ahead and set that down. Give me my arm. Oh, flip the cards. Thank you. It ends up being, well, some end up being similar between people. But yeah, I try to do unique answers for unique people. So for Basit representing him, we got the Tower. Oh, and I guess there we go, caught up. So that one has a lot of upheaval associated with that. The influence in his life is the Fool. Interesting that we've got so much major arcana so far. His intentions are Eight of Pentacles. His feelings, 10 of Pentacles. Marriage, if I can get a grip on it. Wheel of Fortune, which is usually auspicious. And then outcome is the Devil. So that will be interesting. We'll read up on that one just to make sure we understand that one right. Because it's not necessarily bad, just like the Tower isn't always terrible. There are rough parts to them, but they're not always as bad as they seem. So we'll start with the Tower. Yes. Although I could sort of see it coming. So let's go over what they mean more specifically. So the card for Basit was the Tower. Perhaps the most dreaded card in the deck. Oh, am I sharing my guide? Let's share that. Let me get to the Devil. And it's probably good that it's last because we'll probably talk about that the most. Once you have an awareness, that helps. But it's not necessarily bad. Well, there's a warning sign there for sure. Don't get that wrong. But just like, I don't know, 12 steps of the Alcoholics Anonymous. First one is recognizing you have a problem. And this will help with that very much if we want to address that. Yes, let's start from the top. So the card for Basit was the Tower, which we're showing now. So as far as Basit, the Tower comes up when everything in your life feels like it's crumbling away and you have no control. The message is that we must surrender to the power of the Tower and work on accepting the shift in awareness that it offers. The Tower marks a point of awakening. It is a necessary stage of breakdown so that we can evolve, expand, and rebuild. The weak foundation of your life must be torn away in order to build a strong foundation in its place. Once the clearing away happens, your purpose is eliminated. How to put this? Because it's not as destructive necessarily. It could be, but it's not necessarily that destructive. The Tower is talking to when you have supports or foundations in your life that aren't well founded, and some event or something has triggered their collapse. Um, so, like, I don't know if you're familiar with Christianity at all. One of the parables there is the wise man builds his house on a rock, the foolish man builds his house on the sand. And then when the rain comes, floods come, the house on the sands washes away, house on the rocks stands firm. So he's going through some upheaval. Some things he was holding as true or was leaning on aren't as sturdy as he thought they were. Um, so he's having to focus on that and figure that out. Um, it's it's a good deal of shifting going on there. Okay, well, it's a good reference if you understand it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's a waste. Um, but so that's what's going on there, and it's not wholesale. It's not his whole life falling apart. Um, I've rarely seen the tower speaking to the entire existence, basically. Um, Usually, it's a significant part, um, but only a part that is falling apart, falling down, and that needs to be rebuilt um, on sturdier foundation. Okay. So yeah, so that's the card. That's present state, what I'm getting for Basit. The influence, the fool. The notes there are beginning and risk. Um, and so the fool is not as naive, I suppose I should say, as it might sound. And there we go. The first card in the deck represents innocence and a naive soul, about to begin an important journey. Hope and bliss are at the forefront of this adventure. Free from fear and preconceived ideas, this explorer follows their heart and takes a leap of faith. Know that you are supported as you walk along an uncharted path. When this card shows up, the message is that you are encouraged to take on the open and willing energy of the Fool and embrace what unfolds in front of you. Trust the journey and go with the flow. So the Fool, in the sense as an influence in his life, he's probably, I don't want, not in the political sense, liberal, but in his behavior and stuff, he's probably willing to try more things, experiment in a sense, new endeavors, learn new things. The He's not limited in sense. Gosh, there's got to be a better way of saying that. He doesn't have his niche that he likes and sticks to. For example, yeah, liberal is probably the best way to put it. He willing to try new things, very open to new experiences. So, which can make sense for the tower because you can, with the fool, go too far too fast, skip steps sometimes, and it has that element of risk, which is one of the key words on the card. So it makes sense that he has to deal with the tower and the shifting and changing that comes with that. Yeah, basically. Okay. So, and this is just putting words to what you already knew about him. So let's go to intentions. And for that, we have Eight of Pentacles. And the notes there are achievement and education. Eight of Pentacles. And there we go. Okay. sorry, indicates that there is great advancement in your work and finances. Obviously, the context here is um, towards a relationship with you, um, or really just towards you, which it's kind of implicit there's a relationship, but so we'll refine that later. But going on, perhaps you are working toward the accomplishment of a greater life goal. The card reflects the need for a logical and diligent approach to your projects. This card is also known as the Apprentice card. It comes up in readings to show education, perhaps in the form of a degree or a qualification. You will gain great success in your endeavors as long as you take the responsibility of learning seriously. So, sounds like he's trying to be more thoughtful, um, which for intention makes a lot of sense. Um, Instead of just jumping headfirst, as the Fool might suggest, um, the Eight of Pentacles is trying to incorporate more planning. Um, and so, and part of that planning is learning. Doesn't mean, I wouldn't say it means he's coming back. It doesn't necessarily say that. He's trying to learn. I don't know if, yeah. Because the lessons he might take, yeah, he's definitely trying to be a mature person. In fact, he's trying to be more mature. Whether or not that means coming back and trying again, or if this is a lesson learned and moving on, either of those are equally possible, equally plausible. So I don't think we've got for or against. Let's go to feelings. And for that, we got 10 of Pentacles. So yeah, obviously good for him that he's maturing. But yeah, that's not necessarily... Oh wait, 10 of Pentacles? Let me just scroll. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean he would come back. He might be taking that lesson with him and moving on. So either way. 10 of Pentacles symbolizes wealth and security. Count your blessings because magic is all around you. This card shows up to remind you that all is in perfect balance. 10 coins form a perfect arch linked together surrounding a circle with an eye. This signifies completeness and maturity, which can be interpreted in financial and emotional terms that come with life experiences. The fruits of your labor will benefit future generations as part of your legacy. This card speaks of your connection with the laws of the universe, urging you to live your best life. So, yeah, thinks highly of you, thinks of you as a whole person, complete, you're good. Again, that doesn't really say for or against. Given that he's been learning a lesson, I don't know if, yeah, it's really up to him to decide on the coming back, or if he's taking that on with him. So, but yeah, he has a very positive impression of you. We've got, so let's go on to marriage, or well, let me make sure. Yeah. And we both agree there. So let's go on to the marriage, the Wheel of Fortune card. And that says, and the keywords there are fate and change. Oh, I'm searching for wrong thing. Sorry. I'm searching for. Excuse me, the keywords, which aren't listed the same way. The Wheel of Fortune card reminds us that things around us are constantly in motion. Nothing is permanent, and we must give gratitude to the lessons we are gifted with. It also reminds us that anything is possible. There are chance meetings and unexpected life occurrences that may confront us suddenly. This card appears when, as an auspicious sign that things. Sorry, typo there, I'm sure. This card appears as an auspicious sign that things will get better. Knowing that you have the ability, you must now listen to your intuition and manifest your wishes. Your intuitive powers are heightened now, and this is an opportunity to understand your role in the universe. Yeah, I think that wheel has turned. Um, Not to say that this contact didn't turn out better for both of you, this experience, um, but I think we're cycling out and onto something else. Um, that's the impression I'm getting. So yeah, good card, but as far as the two of you together, yeah, probably not is the sense I'm getting. I feel like the cycle has moved on. Um, but yeah. Um, Let me just see if there's. Um, it's, yeah, very true. Um, well, and well, I guess to correct that, it's still a good sign, the change, the Wheel of Fortune. Um, with him or without him. Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's get this first, though. Because I could see the Wheel of Fortune revolving to the new him that's being developed. And I could also see it revolving to a new person entirely. But I think what we're getting at here with the Wheel of Fortune is that it is forward progress. We're rolling on. Um, so it's things are improving and things will get better. And that's regardless of if it's with him or without him. So just wanted to clarify that first. Okay. And let's go on to the devil. Um, okay. The devil card carries with it heavy feelings of oppression and lack of power. When this card shows up, you may feel like you have no control in a certain situation. The devil has convinced you that you have no options. This is a card of greed, codependence, temptation, and materialism. The devil is also associated with addiction with sex, food, substances, and negative thinking patterns. Yet this negativity does not reflect the truth. You are not being trapped by external forces. It is your own limitation that is keeping you imprisoned. You hold the keys to your own freedom, but it is up to you to release yourself of the shackles. And this is referring to the outcome if you guys were married. Um, yeah, generally, no. The thing that's standing out to me is the codependence. And I'm sure other stuff there would manifest as well. Um, but I think together, um, at least in that tight of a coupling, it would not have worked out so well. So the fact that we've got this Wheel of Fortune and cycling on, um, it's probably to someone new, is my best guess. Because, yeah, while this person, Yeah, long term, I don't think that's the impression I'm getting. It wouldn't be good. Um, like short term, obviously, you had this experience and you've come away better for it. Um, but yeah, long term, if you were to tie the knot, you would end up dragging at least yourself down, possibly both of you. Which obviously, what we've already got um, is more in line with what we want. So yeah, okay. Um, so yeah, I'm glad that was helpful. Um, let me go ahead and put this away. Um, gosh. Um, Zero sorrow. Thanks, Emna. Um, Let me find your question. Okay. I'm glad it could. Yeah, I'm glad it could help you. Um, yeah. Okay. Um, so let me. Gosh. Zero was next. Let me find his question. Can't even remember if he dropped it already. Um, there was that. There was that. Do I have just zero? And then we get to the reading. In general, if you would. Okay. Oh, dang it. I should highlight that. Let's see. There was page right around here. There we go. Okay. So moving on to whoops, forgot to. Don't know how that happened. I guess I silenced myself. Um, but yeah, we're on to Zero's question, and I need to figure out which deck to do for the general reading. Oh, I must have wanted to close the guide. That's what happened. Okay. It's a little unfortunate that the video is tied to the audio, because it'd be nice to be able to speak while showing something and not have to have my face, but it's okay. Okay. I'll shuffle this once more. General reading for Zero. Devil's Rejects. Pet in the community. Zero Sorrow is the name. And now that we're showing that, let me get back to. Okay. Which deck are we using for Sorrow? Is it the Destiny deck again? to a certain extent. These are all tarot decks, so they're interchangeable somewhat. Zero, are you still on? If so, I need help picking a deck. Otherwise, I might just do it at random. I'm not feeling particularly strongly towards any one. So I'm sure any of them are fine. But if you're on, we'll lean on your preference if you have some. And I'll try to not whack the mic too much. General reading 40. Okay, looks like he had to drop off. We're going to go with Prisma. So that's what we're up to. General reading for 0. Okay. And go. Let's see. Okay, and now what cards? Apparently the bottom one. We'll throw that out. We got the next one on the bottom. Do we have more? Yeah, still going on. Yeah. Okay, looks like we just have 3. And they're sort of in a 2 and then 1. I'll show you as we flip them. Sorry about the noise. There we go. Okay. So in the order they were drawn: Justice, Judgment, and King of Chalices. And so this one was a little separate from the others. Obviously easy to see how those are related. It's from the root word, but yeah, so that's what we got. And we'll go ahead and read just because the fine distinction between them isn't at the forefront of my mind. Um, but yeah, with justice, that came up earlier. There's a balance um, or balancing that is or will be occurring. So for justice, cause and effect, balance, accountability. This card is a reminder that justice is coming. You can only get away with unscrupulous behavior for so long. Eventually, your motives will be found out, and there will be swift retribution to follow. But do not fear. Being held accountable for your actions is how balance will be restored to the universe. It's time to give back. And then for judgment, decisions, transitions, endings. The swirling mist beckons you in. And of course, it was depicting a door opened and then a swirling mist on the other side of the doorway. Of course, crossing the threshold into the unknown will be daunting. The end of a journey can always be sad, but it is time to make matter of fact decisions and decide if where you are now is worth stagnating in the face of resplendent rejuvenation. Interesting. Um, so, judgment, at least from this deck and its guide, is suggesting you need to make a decision and you need to move forward. Um, and, and then being associated with justice and the karmic effect going on there. Um, Either you're going to make that positive move forward and revitalize your life, or you'll stagnate and suffer the consequences for um, not expanding uh, like you should, for not improving and progressing. So, probably a regression. Um, so, that's the read for that. And then, King of Chalices. I've had the Knight a few times recently, but let's get the King. Resigning emotions, powerful conduit, in control. The king is all about reining in the emotions, recognizing to their true power. He carves out channels for them to flow in advantageous, intentional ways. Shepherd of the roiling river, he is master of its destiny, and it lends its churning strength to his designs. By harnessing your emotions, you become lord of your own experience, directing the formless energy into hale, corporeal creation. So, whether that's advice or if that's describing who you are, um, there's the channeling of your emotional energy. Um, there's which is kind of in tune. Some people can take the reining in to be a bottling up, which most people at this point know that's not the right course of action. Um, so it could be you know how to channel your emotions. Um, it's possible that you're not directing them though. Um, you can control them, but you aren't like a weaver with thread. Until you start weaving, it is just thread. Um, so it may be that you have the means to make something, to direct them for something better. If it's advice, I assume that's what it's speaking to. But yeah, I've obviously I've read it, and you'll be coming back to the video for this one. Um, so you'll be able to connect the dots a bit better once you can um, add in your own situation. But yeah, that's our reading for you. And now let's go back to um, we'll go back to WHE. Was hoping for something more specific, or a general reading, um, but we'll settle for trying to answer advice for Sagittarius, assuming that's what SAG is short for. Let me set that aside, give this a little shuffle. So Sagittarius. For some reason, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, I tend to think of a satyr, half goat, half man. More so of the Chronicles of Narnia variety, but yeah, we'll see what we get for this one. Now what deck to use? Yeah, I think we're going to use the Cosmo deck. We're not going to flip to the Cosmo side of the mat, though. So, not sure. I don't know. There's probably a contrast there that's going to be achieved. We'll see. And given just how long we've been running, we'll probably call that good for today. Once we do wise question. What about SAG? Yeah, I think we've just got 2 cards for Sagittarius. Oh, gosh. Oh, well. We've got 2 cards. Let me go ahead and show, and then we can flip. So I brushed that, sorry. So first card, the Geomancer. Second card, the Phoenix. Now this deck uses different names. So I'll when I read it, I'll let you know what the matching card in a normal deck would be. Let's start with the Geomancer. This is going to be one of the face cards. Probably Pentacles, if I'm remembering right. Come back. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles is the matching card for this one. Generous, sensible, nurturing. In a reading, the Geomancer is symbolic of a deep connection to the earth and its alluring powers. They channeled this earth magic with such compassion and effort that it almost moves through them as a conduit. The geomancer embodies generosity and asks us to be sensible with how we spend our money and what we can do to nurture the earth. They have a remarkable ability to see upcoming events by reading the earth's past and can cast a shield of light in a dimming world. So, yeah, I mean, probably the strong theme there was generosity. Um, the last part sticks out to me. Can cast a shield of light in a dimming world, which is a particular form of generosity, lighting the way, um, illuminating a defense. Oh, more cards. Okay. And then for the Phoenix, the fifth major arcana, this would normally be the Hierophant. Spirituality, new awakening, oneness. If the Phoenix appears, it is time for celebration, as you are approaching a new awakening and an internal holiness with the self. There is a magic bubbling inside of you that only needs your complete oneness in order to soar. Do not become too rigid in your expectations. There is an undeniable natural changeability that will happen within the self. Allowing patience and room for this spiritual awakening to take place will lead you to soar to greater heights. So, yeah, I mean, be self-aware to a certain extent, but otherwise there's that uplift that you can take advantage of, assuming you're paying attention. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry that I went silent there for a bit. Misclicked. But yeah, so streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time. And I'll just reiterate what I said at the beginning. I'm going to start looking for a job soon. So time and frequency may be changing in the near future. Why did I do that? I'm just going to need those later. Okay. Time and frequency may be changing once I lock down a job. I'm thinking of doing this commercially, but I don't expect it to be financially sufficient. So focus on something a bit more supportive for now. But I do want to continue with this. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your support. It's been wonderful doing readings. And until next time.